Good morning, good morning on this Freedom Friday. It is a little, actually it's kind of dry today. So grateful for the dryness today. It's nice. And it's good to be alive. How about that? It's just good to be alive. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's good to be in our right mind and bodies working, reasonable amount of health. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm just waiting. Just gonna wait for a couple to come on and just giving grace to God. Oh, it fogged up my glasses. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, sister. Good morning, Angela. Good morning. Well, I'm going to get started and just thankful for God, to God. Just thankful to God for all that He's doing. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning. God bless you. So yesterday I talked about forgiveness. I defined forgiveness as you giving up the right of resentment and holding the person who harmed you in contempt. That's really what it is. You're saying that I am not going to get even for what you have done to me. That's what you said. Well, that's what you're doing when you forgive. And then we talked about some things that, good morning, Linda, some things that really are, that we can extend the olive branch. That may not take anything like a child writing on the wall or disobeying us. We tell them not to do something, they do it. Or someone hurting our feelings and they really didn't intend to. They didn't know that's what they were doing. So we extend that olive branch. Sometimes I realize that's not always easy for people to do as well. But we extend an olive branch. And then I talked about that other, those harder ones, I should say. The ones that, those hurts and pains that go so deep because of losses or betrayal. And whatever else. I'm sure you can think of more. But the one thing I didn't really touch on was the fact that we have to forgive ourselves. And that's hard to do. Sometimes we can put so much on ourselves thinking that we should have known better. And that's not necessarily true. And we have to look at that in the right perspective. We have to see it right. But oftentimes we don't see it right. And we can be filled with so much guilt, shame, and it could just drag us down and discourage us. So we know that forgiveness is not easy, and sometimes for us it's even harder. So we have to release ourselves from the things that have happened. We have to be willing to say that we forgive ourselves. We forgive ourselves. Instead of choosing to continue in shame, guilt, disappointment. And then some of that guilt is false guilt. It's not even real guilt. It's false guilt. It's accusations. And that are not true. And they can come from various places. Our environment, what we have picked up around family members or peers. It can come from various places. But I'm reminded of a scripture that I just want to share. And it says And that's in Isaiah 43:18. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? You know, we all want to be loved. Everybody want to be cherished and loved. We all do. And we get in relationships with people that hurt us or we hurt them. And we allow these past hurts to dictate how we're going to move in other relationships. Well, that's not going to happen to me again. We don't necessarily learn from the mistakes. We end up saying that's not going to happen. And then it gets into our hearts, and that's how we move. That's how we interact with people. So we may become suspicious of how people would treat us. And we'll say things like, you know, all men cheat. All women are gold diggers. We'll say things like that. Good morning, Michael. But that's out of past hurts and pains. We say we want people to stop playing games with our lives. And we don't want them hurting us any longer. So what we end up doing is fighting back. And we could fight back in destructive ways. Like I'm going to date whoever and whatever and do what I want to do. We can become non-committal. I'm never going to commit to a relationship. I'm never going to love like that again. We can do that. We can play the blame game and become the victim. We can do that. We can get on drugs. Let that dictate our lives. That happens. All of that based on past hurts. And that's what people hold on to. They hold on to past hurts. Past hurts is dictating the future. We're in the rearview mirror going forward. And you can't go forward in the rearview mirror. None of us can go forward in the rearview mirror. There's a quote, and I think I've shared it before, by James Allen. It says, people are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. Therefore, they remain bound. So what does that look like? People want to change their circumstances. Like right now, we want everything to go back the same. We want to be able to go outside and do the things that we were doing, interact with family, and why not? I'm with you. But anytime there's a crisis in life, it changes us forever. You know, just newsflash, we're not going back to where it used to be. Losses have been suffered, damages have been done, all type of things, but good and bad too have come out of this. Hopefully we will move forward greater, stronger, better. But not going back, not the rear view mirror that we often look into. Not that. We don't want that. We want to move forward. But the average person who want to get out of their circumstances and who want to change their situation, they're looking at the external, not the internal. They want the peace, but it's all external. But we got to go inward, right? We have to go inward in order to change situations. But if you ask the average person, they don't want to be fixed. But they want the things around them to be fixed. The people around them to be fixed. I'm reminded of a story when a mother and a father went in to see a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist, they were seeing the psychiatrist because they were having problems with their son. And they went on to explain to the psychiatrist how difficult their son was and all these things that he was doing and wasn't taking responsibility for their lives. And he wouldn't come to the counseling session because he said there was nothing wrong with him. So after the psychiatrist listened for a while, he said, yeah, I agree with your son. There's nothing wrong with your son. And they looked with amazement at him. They couldn't believe that he was saying this, that there was nothing wrong with their son. He said, yes, I agree, because the son is not the problem. You are the problem, because you are allowing the son to do these things, and you are not making him take responsibility for his life. So let me help you. Let me help you take responsibility for your life. And then you'll give your son his problems. Finally, the light bulb went off that they were actually fussing, crying, screaming, telling him what he needed to do. But they weren't doing what they needed to do. They wanted him to be fixed for their life can be easier or better. But they didn't realize that they had to do something about it. And that's what happens. We look outward instead of inward. So we have to do something about it. So forgiving ourselves is the best thing we can do. When I was in the process of healing, one of the things that I did to forgive myself, and I was encouraged by my pastor who's going on with the Lord. I love Dr. Sampson, but he is definitely going on with the Lord. Thankful for his teaching. And then Charles Stanley. He talked about how you can take a chair and just put the chair in front of you. And I did. I did that. And then my pastor said, just let it flow, because I didn't know what to say. He said, just let it flow. But do what you're told to do. So I did that. Well, I used to talk about myself in third party. Well, Regina, oh yeah, that's Regina. Regina does this and Regina does that. There was no I. I wasn't connected to me. Not at all. So when I went to talking, and I was encouraged by the Lord to get a picture of myself. So I got the picture of myself, and I began to talk to that little girl within. And I began to tell her that it wasn't your fault, that you were a child, that what happened to you wasn't your fault. You didn't do this. And I wrapped my arms around her that day. And from that moment on, I never spoke in third party. I spoke to me. I. And I loved it. I connected. Yes. Me. Didn't cause the hurt, the pain. No. Didn't cause that. But you know what's interesting about that? Even though I didn't cause it, I had to heal from it. Yep. I had to heal from it. I had to let the past go. I had to let it go. I had to stop looking in the rearview mirror. And again, I shared, that's a process. It's not easy to do. So forgiving ourselves is so important. It's so important to forgive ourselves. To stop looking in the rearview mirror. We can't relive it. We can't do anything about what happened, but we can do something about it now. I love that. So that verse that I share, forget the former things. Yes, forget the former things. Good morning, Erica. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? See the new things that are bursting forth. You may just have to start with the green grasses out there, the fresh grass, the fresh flowers. We definitely can't hold on to the past and with vengeance, thinking we're going to, that's not going to happen to me again. I'll do it to you before you do it to me. No, that's just more pain. So we have to release it. Let it go. Step out and be us, our authentic selves. Not those things that have come in our life and tried to restructure us and cause us to live not in who we are, causing us to live in who we are not. So I just want to encourage us today to walk in us, letting go of the past and knowing that new things have an opportunity to spring up. And let it spring up, because it will. It will spring up. Fresh flowers around us will spring up. But it does take work. Not without a struggle. It will not happen without a struggle. But I guarantee you stay in it, it will happen. I appreciate everyone joining me this morning on this Freedom Friday. Yes, live free in spite of the things that are happening around us. I know I wouldn't live free if I didn't have Jesus Christ in my life. Who the Son has set free is free indeed. I'm thankful, regardless of what I go through, that I know I'm free in Him. Free indeed. So enjoy this day. Focus on freedom, positivity, love. Sit with yourself for a minute. And by all means, forgive yourself. Yes, rivers of living water will spring up. Thank you, Kevin. That is so true. Rivers of living water will spring up. You guys have a blessed and wonderful Freedom Friday. Take care now. Hi, Kelly.